Hi guys, it's us again, and tonight we're going to be talking about the letter J, but if you're in Scotland you can say Jai. And we're going to talk about jobs.
How fun.
How fun.
So I think I'm going to start solely because I'm the one that's most recently been looking for a job, and I'd like to start with a Bible verse. And basically what I've went for is James 1:12, and the New Living Translation says, God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptations. Afterwards, they will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him.
Good choice.
And I really like the first half where it says that God blesses those who patiently endure testing, because from quite recent experience, especially since we're kind of recording this like kind of end of lockdown time, so over the course of the past few months I graduated college and I was starting to look for a job, and it got really hard really quick, because you have like this idea of like the job that you want. It might not be like a career, because those are two very different things, maybe.
But like your post high school job.
Yeah, or even during high school job, because I've been a waitress, I've been, what else have I been? I've been
a caterer.
I was a caterer.
Everyone's babysitter. Everyone's babysitter. Like since she was 9.
But like that's what you do. You find a way to make money. But when it comes to after high school or after college or after university or wherever you're at, when you're looking for a job that means money, basically, you're kind of putting yourself out there, you're putting yourself on the line, you're making a CV, you're writing about your experiences, you're kind of, it sounds stupid, but anyone that's applied for a job knows you're putting your whole self onto this one A4 bit of paper, and it's everything that you've ever done just kind of crammed down into a few sentences and your experiences. And it feels as though when you're putting yourself out there and you're applying for jobs and you're applying for however many jobs a day, the more you get rejected, the more it feels as though it's not the job application that's getting rejected. It absolutely feels like it's you that's getting rejected. And that word persevere, it just means stick at it, stick through it, and something will happen. And the verse is saying that God's gonna happen. He's in it, he's seen it, and like you have, I won't give any spoilers, but you've got a Bible verse in it too.
Yeah, I've got Proverbs 16. I don't want to say it's either 9 or 19, but she'll put it up on the wee bit at the bottom.
Somewhere.
Proverbs 16, where it says, and this is something that Danny's told me ever since I was
Applying for jobs,
younger, applying for jobs, was man makes the plans, but God guides the steps. And that ties in with perseverance. It's kind of we're meeting God halfway. We are putting ourselves out there. There's work that we need to do. You can't just sit around and go, well, I'm just going to lay in my bed until God gives me a job. It's you put yourself out there, you give the CVs, you go to interviews, you put in applications, like you do that, and the door will open up that is meant for you. And that's not meaning like rush into a job that you get straight away. Like have a time to like really pray about it and see if it's God's will, because there was a job that I've applied for and Danny was like, that's not it, and it turned out Danny was right, and I was just looking at the money.
Which, by the way, happens a lot.
Like I was just looking at the money, but that's the thing, that taking the time to wait. Like they've offered you don't need to say yes straight away. You can just take a wee moment, pray about it, and seek. And it ties in with the other one, is when you're working, you're not working, if you're a Christian, working for the company or the boss, or so to speak. Like your work ethic is to please God, and that's in Colossians 3:23. It says work willingly for the Lord, not to please man. Because a lot of times we get into jobs to please other people, but part of a job is you're realizing that God's give you that, God's opened that door for you, give it back to God. And sometimes we neglect to do that.
Oh, absolutely. I know that for a fact. Like being applying for jobs, I was applying for like warehouse jobs and jobs that would just get me by to go on holiday to Toronto next year, or be able to buy Christmas presents this year. I wasn't looking at, why am I doing this job? What will I be able to get out of this job in such a way, with what am I going to be able to get out of it opportunity wise? Like who am I going to be able to serve? Is it a place where I'm going to be able to share my experiences with the Lord if I'm working in a warehouse? Is it like what do I want to be able to do with the job out with the paycheck at the end of the month.
I love how we talk about jobs from the perspective of choice.
Oh yeah,
that's privilege, isn't it? Because there's some people that just have to take whatever job comes.
Totally.
I know.
You know,
There's been times where I've done that, and it's
yeah,
paid,
you have done that a lot, and
the
so have
bills.
you actually. You
It's
both have
paid the bills, and that's God's carried me through that season. He's given me that opportunity, and I'm now in a position where I can help others.
Yeah.
And through that, but also like
But even if you get a job that you don't really necessarily like love or like, which I've had a few of,
oh totally.
I mean, just be there for God. Like, you know, I know like a lot of times jobs have a purpose, and the purpose is to gain money.
Yeah.
Because your parents are telling you need to go get a job, or because it is time to start getting some skills. So sometimes you just get a job just to be your first job, and it's just that, it's your first job. And and like Ashlyn was saying, it can be hard to find that job, especially now in the middle of COVID, in the middle of wherever we're at as a country with our economics and whatnot. So it can be difficult, but you know, like the Bible says, fear not. Like, fear not. God has a plan for you, and the plan is always to do you good. And I know like sometimes we can be in jobs that feel very dead-endy, and like what's the purpose in this, and I hate this, and you know, I can like go on and on about how horrible some jobs can be. But at the same time, like, if we just lay that before God and say, you know what, Lord, like, what is my purpose here? Because if we come at it from the perspective of being believers, we know that there's always like an extra layer to everything we do. That's the supernatural layer, or, you know, the kingdom layer, because we live in two worlds. We live in earth, where we have to have provision, but we also live in heaven. And when the two worlds collide, you know, there's a purpose in that. Like, why is God's will for my life colliding with where I'm at? You know, so yeah, like, don't be afraid either. Like, jobs are a really good thing. God honors hard work, and he honors people who want to work hard, especially his children. So like, there's all kinds of stuff to think about. And I think that's the interesting thing about these little chats, is that we start to chat about things, and then we realize actually we're just touching the tips of the iceberg, or the edges of the edges, as one of my Bible teachers used to say. So like, it's hard to get into the true subject of it. And all we're here to do is to encourage you, motivate you, exhort you sometimes about different topics that like we've asked our youth about. So one of the topics they wanted to talk about was jobs, but we didn't actually ask from what perspective. We're
so
like what, to find one? Yeah, I think we've given them all.
And the other one is like, if you're in high school and you're getting to the point where you don't know what you do, I was there.
Oh my goodness, I'm still there.
What I did was, yes, I worked any job because I had bills to pay.
He
as
did.
living dad
He would
with,
walk like 5 miles to his job.
Like, I was doing that, but also the same point, like, plug into your church. They've always got jobs to do, whether it's
paid or not,
praying for someone, or working in the youth group, or the Sunday school,
That's
or
a good suggestion, Robert.
working alongside your pastor, like
staying busy while you're
like finding those moments, so you're not just sitting about and dreading that, or focusing on that feeling of not having that, when you've got opportunities, and use them. And that's one thing that I really got blessed with, until the door opened up for me to go to college and then uni.
And like Robert was saying, like with that verse earlier about working as you're working unto the Lord, like, give 150%. Like, when you're there, give everything. And like, that's actually where all my promotions came from. My promotions came from like working really hard, and then like my superiors going, oh my gosh, she's really hardworking and she's got ambition. Let's teach her a little bit more. Let's give her a little bit more. And then I would gain skills from that. And that would just kind of bring me up the ladder within the company. But then there was times where God was like, you know what, you can gain all you can from here, but you're not staying. So it's just, you know, just give 150%. Like you said, it's not personal. And if your parents are on your case about getting a job, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. You know, that's okay. Your parents have the right to tell you to earn some cash or some dosh, or bring home some what do we call it here? Digs money.
Digs money.
Digs money.
That's exactly what
and
it is,
also, listen to this. In Scotland, when you're 16, sometimes your parents tell you to go sign on and get a house. So you really need to get your act together here. So once again, talking about different countries and different areas that you might be in this, you know, the privilege of being able to stay in school till you're 18, or, you know, however you want to do it. But, you know, every world is different, and every country is different. So here you might actually be told to leave the house.
Quite possibly.
So, you know, a job's not a bad thing.
100%.
Yeah.
So I would say, to summarize up, know that it's okay to not have a job just now. Persevere.
Yeah.
Persevere.
Make plans, because God's going to guide a step. Be in prayer, so you know God's will. That's 3 points that I would give.
100%.
Be okay to wait.
Yeah.
Persevere. be in prayer.
Yeah.
And when you get there, work your butt off.
Work your butt off. Brilliant.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.